Welcome to Calumet High School. In this podcast, I'll be explaining our upcoming trial of our hybrid schedule. The hybrid schedule will be running during 2 consecutive weeks, December 6th through the 10th and December 13th through the 17th. The biggest question is why? Why change our schedule? Why go to this alternative type schedule? And really it all started last year when the Calumet High School staff did an extensive comprehensive needs assessment. And we looked at what are the things that we're doing in the high school, what are we doing well, what things can we do a better job of. And as we looked at our school, as we surveyed our students, looked at test scores and other data, we realized there were a couple of glaring needs that we needed to address. One of those needs was time for students to access resources in our high school. Those resources being teachers that they have in a particular class, as well as equipment, connectivity, other resources available in the school that students may not have access to at home. There's also a glaring need for staff development time. With all the new mandates, with all the changes in technology, with all that's being thrown at our staff, we need time to work together so that we can provide the best quality education that we can. Research has also shown that being able to do hands-on activities, being able to physically touch and move the objects, the information that you're working with, helps to retain that information much greater. Okay. An opportunity to implement extended class periods or block schedules would allow teachers, would give teachers the ability to provide lessons in a different way that currently we're not able to. Research has shown over and over that being able to get involved with the lesson that you're working on, to be physically active in what the content is that we're trying to learn, helps retention over time. And the other outcome that we're looking at is to have some homeroom time where teachers can interact with students about topics not necessarily curricular involved. School climate issues, scheduling times, homecoming activities, class meetings, all those kind of things that go on in the school that there is really no time set aside to take care of. So in response to these needs, we started doing some research to look at how can we address all of these needs that we have in our school. During that research, we came across a school in Ohio who has implemented this hybrid schedule for the past 12 years. The research that they have shows that it's been very successful and it fit very well into the areas of need that we were looking at. So we took their model and adjusted it to Calumet High School. And we think that the King period is going to help us address that student assistance time, where students can access materials, teachers that they need to. Our homeroom time will be built in, so we have that ability to work with students on non-curricular kinds of topics. The block class periods on Wednesdays and Thursdays will give teachers that opportunity to have an extended 90-minute period where they can provide lessons that otherwise we cannot. And the time for professional development is critical for our staff to be able to keep up with new mandates, with new technology, and start doing some cross-curricular kinds of work, and some professional learning communities where our teachers can work together. At this time, I'd like to just go over the schedule itself and maybe try and clear up some of the confusion of what the schedule is actually going to look like and where our students are going to be and how these changes are going to be implemented that I just got done talking about. First of all, one of the key points for the schedule is that it's a 2-week trial. Rather than implement this at the start of the year and jump right into it without having good data, we're asking for everyone's help, everyone's understanding for 2 weeks, so that we can take a look at the schedule to see, does it address the needs that we have, and is it going to be the best thing for Calumet? During this 2-week period, and especially following it, we will be gathering input from students, from parents, from staff, from community members. So there will be opportunities to express your views. We plan on having an open forum so that people can get the information back to us on how and what they saw and what they felt about the new schedule. As far as the high school is concerned, the big picture is school will still be in session from 8 till 3:30 every day, just as it always has been, with the exception of Wednesdays. On Wednesdays, the first hour-and-a-half block on Wednesday from 8 till 9:30 is set aside for professional development for staff. This means that students will not report to school until 9:30 in the high school on Wednesdays. That's really the only change in start to finish time for this entire schedule. The rest of the changes occur internally in how we're utilizing the time that we have. First of all, let's look at Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. As we look across the schedule, you can see that it really is basically a traditional style schedule. We have 1st through 7th hour, just as we have had every day all this year, with the exception of our king periods at the end of the day. So the last 30 minutes of each day is built in to allow students to access whatever resources they need to access, whether that's teachers, equipment, facilities, on campus or off campus. So the last 30 minutes of the day is open for students. In the high school, we are putting some of that responsibility on students. The attendance for that 30-minute period on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays is optional, and students will be allowed to go where they need to go. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, during our block schedule time, the king period is in the middle of the day, right after lunch. Those 2 periods are not optional. Students will have to report to their homerooms. On Wednesday, that time will be used for homeroom. On Thursdays, once they've reported, they'll be able to access resources as they need. So once again, Wednesdays and Thursdays, that time is not optional. The next component of our adjusted schedule is our Wednesday and Thursday block-style scheduling. On those 2 days, students will have 90-minute classes. On Wednesday, 3 classes, and on Thursday, 4 classes, so that each of their 7 periods will meet once during those 2 days, but for an extended period of time so that we can address the block scheduling issues that I talked about earlier. Now, one of the confusing parts is the fact that the hours are arranged differently. This is simply because we're trying to fit a traditional schedule into this alternative schedule for a 2-week period. If we were starting from scratch and this was going to be our schedule, then we could certainly have our hours in a row. Although we feel that CHS provides a great educational opportunity to our students, we're also always looking to improve and do things better. It is our hope that this alternative schedule will help improve the students' experience at Calumet. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Rowland's media production class and you for tuning in to get more information about our alternative schedule trial period in December. Thank you.